Good morning and welcome to episode 20 of Balboa Park. I am Nikos Balboa. I'm a trans man and I'm Italian. I've been living in France for more than 20 years. I'm a tattooer and I'm an artist. I do graphic novels in Italy and in France. And in this podcast, I want to observe my creative process as a way of knowing and improve my life. Welcome. I've been in my creative nest, and if you are a listener to this podcast, you know what I'm talking about. Today is Friday, and I've spent Wednesday getting into this place in which I tell everyone to don't call me, and I'm all alone, and I've spent the day reading in bed, just hanging out with my dog Albert. And then graphic journal a little bit during the day and watching a movie. And then yesterday I woke up and I've spent my day in my home studio painting and drawing, and I did two different things. I'm still working in my underwater series, the new perimeter series. I already talked about this in this podcast. And then I spent few hours drawing for a tattoo I will do on Saturday. Actually, I don't often draw for a tattoo in advance since I work freehand, drawing directly on people's skin. But Saturday I have to tattoo this back piece with my iconic, I'm joking, but with poppies, which is one of my favorite flower to draw. And so yesterday I think, okay, I want to practice a little bit what will be to tattoo those poppies on a back piece scale. I don't often tattoo back piece. I already, like the other day, I started this sleeve, all botanical, and but the back piece is different because you have a huge size, but also a huge point of view, because even though when you tattoo one whole arm or leg, or I don't know, the scale is big, but the point of view is like you have to shift around, to turn around the arm or the leg in order to see the whole drawing. And in the back piece is different, and unfortunately, I don't have so many people asking me for this. So I can say I'm kind of excited to do this, but also I was a little bit of afraid. So yesterday I took this very big format of paper and I started sketching and drawing. And while I was sketching, nowadays when we are artists and we know that in order to people know what we do, we are in this spiral in which we create content for our social media, at least. Maybe I don't know but I create content, and it's okay. Like I have Instagram since 2012, and I always enjoying doing this. I enjoy documenting my process as I'm doing it in this podcast as well. I like to share with you that follow my work what I do. I like to have feedback. I like to test because I like to experiment when I draw. And so I realized that posting work in progress give me the possibility to observe my work for another point of view, give me the possibility to observe it as I'm just not the person who's doing it, and I like to receive feedbacks, and also I can observe your feedback by the engagement you give on the page or something like this. And so yesterday I was drawing this big botanical illustration in order to prepare for my tattoo. And what happened was like, when I'm doing something which is cool, do I have mandatorily document. And so I have this split personality in which I love creating alone, but but also I like to share my work in progress. And often what I do is I create alone and then I post picture or video on my social media. And yesterday, what happened was I started filming this process, this drawing process in my iPhone in modality, how do you call it? When the video is accelerated, it's going faster. I can't remember now. Anyway, and I was thinking, this is fun to see somebody draw in accelerated speed, and maybe I can post it as a reel. And on the reel, I will post a voiceover in which I will talk about this process. And then I got the FOMO and I say, maybe I should do an Instagram live and just drawing while people can watch it. And I was like, but maybe I know that Instagram can be fun in the mind for me, but then practically can give me like depression symptoms, because I was thinking maybe this could be fun, but if I start live and nobody shows up, and then I will go outside of this magic moment of creativity, this flow state, and I will be starting getting, hooked on how many people are watching this. And then I think maybe first, and then I start resisting this. Like, I don't want to be somebody that do lives. Like, now it seems that the new frontier, the new app to do this is Twitch. And I have a Twitch account since 2020, because at that time I was thinking it would be fun to do this, but I soon realized that having a Twitch platform then demand me to have a setup that was way more tech and professional for me to wanting to set up. First thing first, in my home studio, the Wi-Fi doesn't reach very well. So setting up a live drawing Twitch platform setup would be like impossible in a place that doesn't have internet. I was resisting in my mind Twitch, like if there were somebody in my room asking me, go on Twitch. And I was like, I don't want to go on Twitch. All this while continuing drawing. And then I said, it's weird that this is even a thing. Why am I resisting this Twitch thing so much? And so, since I'm contradictory spirit, I don't know if you say this in English, but Bastian Contrario in Italian, while I was drawing, I say, okay, then I'm going on Twitch. All was happening in my mind, and then, so I posted on Instagram, I'm going live on Twitch. If you care, I don't know, let's try this. And then I set up a live on Twitch. I didn't understand a thing. They asked me for a category, and when I put the category drawing, they want me to go in different category, but they looks like things that already exist with thumbnail image. I couldn't understand. So I pick one, and then I drew there for half an hour, and nobody shows up. I could see just one. I had one viewer, but then I had just one message in the live chat, and it was a bot that wanted to sell me a service about growing my Twitch platform. So probably the only viewer was this bot that wanted to sell me product. And so I drove there for half an hour, and I talked there for half an hour, thinking maybe it's like Instagram. Once I've finished, I will save this live, and in some way it will save in some archives. And I don't think I could manage to save the live. I'm not sure if I did. I couldn't understand how it works. And I refuse to think that I don't understand because I'm old, because fuck it. And at the end, I couldn't understand what did just happen. So I started with enjoying the process of just drawing, and then I filmed myself, and then this escalated to the FOMO of doing a live, and then from Instagram to Twitch, then back to the square one in which I was alone in front of my drawing, and I enjoyed this and I finished this and it was fun. But I'm still not sure what I think about all this. Is it something interesting? Is it something I have to experiment? Is it something, because I think if I'm thinking about it and if I'm resisting and refusing it in my mind when nobody asked me to do this, why am I doing this? So maybe it's something that actually, if I'm going shadow investigating, I'm refusing it because in some way I want to do it. Because when somebody tell me, advise me, but I'm very centered in my practice and I can easily say, no, I'm not interested in doing this. But if all alone in my mind I'm like, I don't want to do this, but actually nobody asked me and I'm resisting it, what the deal? And so I thought about coming here on the podcast talking about this too. Just explore my creative process. This is the reason of this podcast. When we feel that there is something in the back of our mind, which is a pull but also a push, which is an invitation but also a resistance, what does it mean? I don't know what it means for you, but if I take like 3 minutes to think about it, and I try to breathe in and breathe out, and then try to feel it in my body, I guess that in some way I enjoy to feel this connection with people who see my drawings, who see my art practice, who listen to the podcast, who watch or don't watch the live painting session. And the resistance I feel is not like I don't want to do it. Because as I was saying, when I don't want to do something, I don't do it. I guess that the resistance I feel is more like I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of being judged, of being shallow. How do you say? Like for being, you are so superficial because your creative process, you document it in a live. Or I'm afraid of being judged of people telling me, you are too old to go on Twitch. As if, I guess, the platform change because people and society change and way of communicating are changing. So there is nothing wrong to try to new things. So, but all those things is like, if I want to go further in the shadow work and shadow investigation, is probably things that I am afraid of being judged are those things that in some way I already judge other artists. Does it make sense? This is make all total sense to me. And then to go full circle, when I see, for example, I want to draw live on social media and then I am afraid of being judged of not being a real artist because I'm not in my inner space and I'm doing it in front of other people. Probably because I really judged somebody else doing this. Maybe I already watch a live from an artist who's drawing live. I know that in the back of my mind, I have already judged these people, them for doing this publicly. And then, full circle, why did I judge this person? Because deep down inside myself, I was jealous and I wanted to be able to do this. I wanted to be able to draw, and while connecting to my followers and people who like my work. And I wanted to do this, but I couldn't manage to do this because I was afraid of failure. I was afraid of nobody will watch my live. And so this go full circle. And so it's very interesting to observe this. And how can you know this? For example, if you try to apply this to your life, when you judge somebody for something and you have strong feeling about this judgment, how can you know that it's something that maybe it's worth investigating, and maybe some jealousy because it's some need you need to address? For example, I don't judge artists that do their whole work digitally, for example. There are some people that are very hooked on being every drawing do by hand, and they judge people who do digitally because it's more easy, or I don't know. I don't give a fuck, because why? Why don't judge? Why don't have a strong feeling? Because on me there is no judgment around this. Because in my mind it's really clear that your talent is not defined if you make your working by pencil on paper or by Procreate on the iPad. And so, since there is no inner judgment around this theme, I don't judge other people. You know what I mean? To come full circle in my observation about my willing to document my creative process, I guess that I'm in the loop of wanting something but being afraid of not being able to do it. Tell me what you think about all this, about this shadow work on judgment, and also about these artists that document their creative process in a live way while they are doing it. This is all for today. Enjoy your weekend, and if you like this podcast, put 5-star wherever you are listening it to, and this podcast comes into your inbox when you are a subscriber to my newsletter on Substack. So look for Nikos Balboa on Substack, podcast called Balboa Park, and whenever you have question or things about my work and want to know more, go to nicodsbalboastudio.com or write me on social media. That's all for today. Thank you so much for listening, and bye-bye from me and from Albert, which is in my lap. I'm going to take a picture and posting it on the Substack. Thank you. Bye-bye.